Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be, I feel like I'm worthless. Well, I've actually got an email here from a guy who feels like he's worthless. He's got family members that have nothing nice to say to him, and he's really in a difficult situation. So I got a quote that I wrote on this topic, and then we're going to go through his email, because he's in a really difficult, challenging place. And I know what it's like to come from a family who just verbally abuses you and physically abuses you, and it fucking sucks. You grow up feeling like you're a fucking total piece of shit and you have no value. And it takes you years to overcome all that crap. But I did it. Lots of other people do it and become great successes, and you know what? You can do the same thing, but you got to participate in your own rescue. So the quote says, a parent's job is to fill their child up with so much love, self-esteem, determination, and self-confidence that the negative and weak people of the world can't have any effect on their efforts to become great and have an awesome life. Unfortunately, the world is full of weak people who have given up on themselves and their dreams. Misery really does love company. These lost and unhappy souls are so desperate to drag other people down to their level of misery and suffering to validate their own limiting beliefs and negative outlook that they will be fierce, ruthless, and relentless in projecting their own self-hatred and self-loathing onto anyone who crosses their path in order to justify and continue their unsuccessful approach to life. So let's go through his emails, shall we? So he says, hey Corey, I'm 23 years old and oftentimes I feel like I'm worthless. I wouldn't say I'm suicidal, but I often do feel like I'm not worthy of anything. I'm still living at home. I don't have a car or even my license. Dude, 23 years old, get your fucking license, dude. Seriously. You got to participate in your own rescue. If you want to get out from this home environment you're in, the only person that's going to do it is you, dude. But I'm currently saving up to move out and get those things, as well as making my transition into my dream field, though I'm getting quite impatient. Dude, you're 23. You're still a kid. I mean, the good news is your fucking generation, I mean, really, we're literally 15, 20 years away from being able to prolong human life indefinitely, of course, unless you go splat. There's even a doctor, and I think 2 years or 3 years, they're going to do a transplant. They're going to transplant a human head onto another body. They've already done it with monkeys. The only problem is the monkey was unable to move the rest of the body. But this doctor says he's figured out a way to reconnect all the nerve endings of the spine. Won't that be interesting? Because the guy that has some kind of degenerative disease, it's pretty fascinating. When you look at like DNA nanobots and stuff that they're doing, I mean, they're literally 2.5 years away from human trials with DNA nanobots. There's a TED Talk where you can watch the doctor who talks about it. It's fucking mind-blowing. So my point being is, what if you lived to be 500 years old or 1,000 years old or 2,000 years old? Can you fucking imagine that? What you would see? I mean, that's just fascinating when you think about the possibilities. You literally could have dozens of careers. You could spend 20, 30, 40 years at becoming a painter and say, well, that's great. Let me learn something else. I'll be a CEO of a company. And you do that for a while. Then you go and learn something else. Hey, I'm going to play a sport professionally. I mean, think about it. If you're able to keep your body at around 28, 30 years old, I mean, physically, could you imagine? I mean, these are the kinds of things that were in your lifetime especially, that these are becoming possibilities. I mean, literally, are unlocking the building blocks of the universe and our bodies. I mean, you think about it, our body grew from nothing. It was just one cell, an egg, in your mother's body, and it merged with sperm from your father, and then it just started dividing, and everything grew out of that. Isn't that amazing? Life is a miracle, and we're discovering how to do all this stuff. We're discovering, and we're getting to the point now, I mean, there's, like, you look at salamanders, there's other things than other organisms that live in the world that a limb gets cut off, it can grow it back. I mean, there was at one point in your life, you didn't have any limbs or arms or legs or eyes or anything, and they grew out of nothing. They grew out of cells. So we unlock that process. We can turn it back on. You get your arm chopped off, no problem. Grow it back. You fuck your body up, no problem. We'll grow another one in a test tube, and they'll just transplant your head. Can you imagine? It's fucking unbelievable. He says, I have a mother who isn't supportive of me at all and always tells me that no one... So my point being with telling you all that is you're going to have plenty of time to get it right, dude. There's no fucking rush. You need to focus on enjoying every moment. Maybe it takes you 10 years, maybe it takes you 20 years to get to where you really want to be. So what? What if you can spend hundreds of years just enjoying your life? I mean, can you imagine the possibilities? You could become great at anything you can conceive of because you got really unlimited time. It's fucking fascinating. He says, I have a mother who isn't supportive of me at all and always tells me that no one would ever want me. Well, that's a nice, loving thing to say. Remember, no one will ever do or say anything to you that isn't a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves in a moment. So when somebody's projecting their self-hatred and self-loathing onto you, you know what? You really should just feel compassion for your mother because she's so fucked up. She's so miserable and she's so unhappy and she's so lost that instead of helping your son be awesome, she's dumping all that shit that's inside of her onto you. I would feel compassion for her, I would feel empathy for her, and I feel sad for her and sorry for her. But it's not your job to fix her. It's your job to take care of yourself and your own life and get the fuck out of there as quick as you can. Maybe you go rent a place somewhere for a couple $100s a month. Rent a room someplace that's a better environment. Check Craigslist. They're out there. Figure it out. She says, I can't do anything right, and she only points out my flaws, most of which are her flaws. So exactly what was I just saying? No one will ever do or say anything to you that isn't a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves in a moment. So don't take it personally. Oftentimes, she will literally go on for hours or days about my flaws. That's when you go, thanks, Mom, I appreciate that. Thanks for the self-esteem lesson. You are doing such a great job of making me feel like I can do anything in life. Great, thank you. You're awesome. I'm going to give you a trophy, and it says Mother of the Year. You're doing so many good things for my self-esteem. I got to run. I'll see you later, Mom. I love you. Bye. Give her humor. Don't let that shit bother you. Tease her. Make fun of her. Don't let that shit get under your skin. You say, Mom, you know what? I know you're hurting. Do you want to talk about something? Because obviously something's really bothering you. I'm happy to listen. I love you. But you don't need to treat me harshly like this. I mean, come on. I'm your son. I'm your flesh and blood. You should want don't you want me to be more successful and have a better life than you've had? Wouldn't that make you feel good and proud as a mother if you could see me become really successful someday and make something of myself? Would that make you feel like you accomplished something? Do you really want to see me be a failure? Is that what you're looking for? Because you're not helping me. Even though I know what she says isn't true, after several years of hearing that, I started to believe that, and I often feel like I'm not good for anyone. No one in the family can be around her for very long because she reads too much into the most innocent of things and starts to accuse them of meaning something else, or she'll just get really nasty and snappy with them. She sounds like a fucking barrel of monkeys. Oh my God. Unfortunately, I'm constantly on eggshells around her. That's why you should spend as little time around her as possible. And I have to be careful of what I say around her out of fear that she'll read too much into it. As a result, I've been finding myself reading too much into things and dwelling on them, sadly. Sometimes days, I even fear that it's going to ruin my social life if it already hasn't. Dude, you're 23. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you won't even be hanging out with the same people. So it really doesn't fucking matter. Disagreeing with her or standing up for myself usually leads to her guilt-tripping me and making me feel bad for having my own voice. Thank you, Mom. Please enlighten me on my stupidity and my ignorance. I'm happy to listen. My confidence is virtually gone. No, it's not. You're just choosing not to exhibit it. And I worry too much about what people think of me. Well, I did a video a while back called Why I Don't Care What You Think of Me. You should watch that. Because that's the way I approach life. Because the more successful you become in life, the more you're going to have haters projecting their self-hatred and self-loathing. People it's like what I do for a living. I see people like your mom. It's like all day. I get nasty emails from people. There's nasty comments posted on social media, nasty comments post it on YouTube, and all it tells me is there's a lot of shitty, fucked up, messed up people in the world that are just screaming for help. That's what your mother really is. She's crying for help. She needs fucking help. Don't take it personally, dude. It's not your fault she's fucked up. You know, like I said, the more you deal with this, the more successful you become, the more you're going to have shit like this. Like I said, it's like I see it all the time. And every once in a while, I'll lower the boom on somebody just because it's fun. It's fun to fuck with people like that. Because you know what? Somebody's got to call them out on their fucking bullshit and their inappropriate behavior and the inappropriate things that they say. Because at the end of the day, these people that I deal with, they're strangers. They don't fucking know me. They don't know anything about me. He says, it's so bad that oftentimes I'll only catch certain buses or go places where I know there won't be too many people. I also try to please people way too much. Dude, don't be seeking other people's approval. It's like Stevie Wonder said, you can't live your life according to other people's expectations. And I often let people walk all over me just to avoid an argument. Well, instead of letting them walk all over you to avoid an argument, just avoid those assholes altogether, because that's what I did. The more you start to love and accept yourself, the less you tolerate bullshit from people like this. It's like one of the things that Tony Robbins said, because his mother's really fucked up. He's told countless stories, like in his seminars and stuff. It's like he's learned to deal with her. He says, love your family, but choose your peers. Love your mom, feel compassion and empathy for her, but spend as little time around her as possible, because she ain't going to help you get to where you want to be. She's fucked up. It's not your job to fix her. What is your job is to take care of yourself and your own life and be awesome. And anybody that's not aligned and supportive and uplifting and have a positive word saying, you can do it, man, I fucking believe in you, don't fucking hang out with people like that. You'll see what I mean. The older you get, you'll realize your circle of friends will get smaller and smaller, but those relationships will get deeper and deeper. I do have my days where I don't put up with it, but for the most part, I'm a doormat, which is funny considering that I have a pretty intimidating build. Well, you're not going to beat your mother up. It's like, come on. Just vote with your feet and choose to be somewhere else. She blew off my high school graduation and still tries to blame it on me, even though she said, fuck your graduation and find your own way there. Thanks, Mom. I sure will. Thanks for the love. I can feel it. I lost my dad about 10 years ago, and on the same day of his death, she told me I would be dead and a piece of shit just like him. Oh, thank you, Mom, so much. I love all these lessons in healthy self-esteem building are great. Can I have some more? What else you got for me? You know what? You should be a life coach, Mom. You are so fucking positive and uplifting. It's like, I just can't stand it. These are the kind of way you should deal with it. And have a smile on your face when you're saying it. I almost committed suicide that day. You know what, dude? I'm glad you're still with us, because the world is much better with you in it. Because you know why? Every day that you stick around is a day you can say, fuck you, asshole. I'm going to be a success. I'm going to succeed just to piss off the fucking haters. That's the way you should look at it. I love it. It's like, I have a really close friend of mine the other day. We were talking about what I do now. And I remember what he was saying to me, he says, quite honestly, when I saw how you were going about your life coaching business, how you were struggling, and I thought you were fucking crazy, dude. I thought you were crazy. But he said, but you know what? You knew what you were doing, and you fucking figured it out. And it's like, that's pretty fucking awesome. And he's a really good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. He never said he didn't support me. He just smiled and says, you can do it. You can figure it out. Even though inside he's going, that's fucked. It'll never work out. But he was a true friend because he knew being negative wasn't going to help me, because he's a good guy. But you know what? Now my example inspires him to have more balls and to take more risk. He says it's gotten to the point where compliments from people seem unreal. I have a really hard time telling if people are being sincere with me. Just assume they are. And if they're not, fuck them. It's like what Mick Jagger said. Fuck them if they can't take a joke. He says, I met this woman who's 33 at my previous job who has been nothing but genuine with me and never gave me a reason to not trust her. We initially started out as friends, and I had no interest in her at the time, but after a few weeks of hanging out and socializing all the time, we ended up becoming a little more than friends. So she talked you into it. Even though she always blushes when she sees me, flirts constantly, touches me, tells me how she's never had as much fun with anyone else as she's had with me, I always start doubting and questioning myself. When she says things like that, you say, you know what? I think you need to get over it and kiss me right now. Oh, really? You never had so much fun? You know what? If you start making out with me, you'll have even more fun. I missed out on plenty of opportunities with women in the past who were chasing me simply because I lacked confidence. And I kept telling myself that I wasn't good enough. Well, you know what, dude? I didn't have my first real long-term girlfriend when I was 24. That was 21 years ago. I'm 45 now. I turned out okay. And I've had amazing experiences since then. I've had so many great experiences. If I got hit by a bus tomorrow, I'd show up to the pearly gates with a fucking spleef in my mouth and maybe a beer or a cognac in the other saying, oh yeah, it's been fucking great, God, I'm ready. He says, so Corey, I want to know if you could help me. I can only help people who are willing to help themselves. All I can do is suggest, give you some ideas, teach you the things that I've used that have worked for me. But at the end of the day, the only person that can help you is the person that you see in the mirror every day. You must participate in your own rescue. You take control of your life. You take control of your destiny. Point yourself in the direction of where you want to be and keep taking action and keep learning and keep striving to get there. I mean, like I was talking about earlier in the video, I mean, your generation, dude, you're literally going to have hundreds and thousands of years to get this shit right. So what if it takes you 20 years to become really awesome at something that you love? So what? Say it takes you 20 years to do that and you spend a couple hundred years just enjoying your life. I mean, think about it. I mean, there's so many amazing things that are going on technology-wise. Like I said, if you Google, there's a TED Talk. If you just Google something along the lines of TED Talk, nanobots, it'll come up. It's only like 15. I think those are all no longer than 18 minutes long. It's fucking amazing. It's mind-blowing shit, dude, what scientists are doing right now today. 2.5 years away from human trials. You think about that. Fucking amazing. You got all the time in the world, dude. Take your time. Find a way to enjoy where you are and spend your time with people who love you, who support you, who have positive, encouraging things. And spend as little time as possible with people like your mother. Love her. But at the end of the day, the only person that can help you, man, is the guy that you see in the mirror every day. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.